Okay. Um, in this session, first let's start with the discussing the answers for the questions I have given yesterday. You people perform. I can say just you perform. It's not exceptionally well. And let me give you the answers and see where you stand. Okay, as per the answers given by you guys. So the first one, I think this is not the question set, right? I mean, it's a different one. Let me pick that one from internet. Okay, these are the set of questions I have given for last test, and let's see the answers now. What is the size of DW? And most of the guys, I don't know whether you understood or not. DW means data warehouse. So DW size, whenever an interviewer asks you, you have to answer in two different ways. The first one is the size of the database or the data warehouse, that is something around 800 GB to 1200 to 1300 GB. This is how you have to answer this question. It's not like, yeah, it will be varying from project to project, but data warehouse, whenever the SSA's part comes into picture, that means the database is or the data warehouse is pretty huge, and hence you need to have good enough, you have to answer good enough size there, like something around 800 GB to 1200 GB. And the second way of answering this is the fact table, which is also called as the biggest table, obviously. The fact table in the database, the size of the fact table, you can answer in this way. You can say like I worked on the database or data warehouse where the fact table is having 50 crore records or 70 crore records or 100 crore records. So something around, it should be 35 to, you can go for 200 to 500 crores of records. So if you say too big number like 1,000 crores or 2,000 crores or 3,000 crores of data, then you will get lot hell of questions on performance issues. Okay, so better to say 70 crores or 100 crores. If you talk about fact table size, and if you talk about the size in GB of the whole database, then you can go for 800 GB or to 1200 GB. So that's the answer for the first question. And the next question, what is the difference between DW and DM? I don't know. I mean, I think a couple of guys did not understand what is DM means. That's unfortunate. Uh, DW stands for data warehouse and DM stands for data mart. So data warehouse is nothing but the complete warehouse of data or complete historical data, where you will have the complete data. Data mart is subset of data warehouse. Let's say the cricket example. Cricket, you will have huge data, or let's take any company, very big running company that is running on some business or IT business, let's say for example. So the data warehouse will have all departments data, all departments historical data, whereas data mart will have a particular business or a particular entity. For example, finance department, they'll make it as a data mart, and IT department, they'll make it as a data mart. Why? Because they don't want to mingle. Why? They want to design different cubes. They want to design different solutions for each data marts or each entity in the business. The advantage is the finance guys will have access to the finance cube, which will be pointing to finance data mart. So, which will have less data compared to the data warehouse. If the data warehouse size is 800 GB, the data mart, if you split it into 4 different data marts, the size will come across 200 GB per data mart. So that's one advantage of having. And you will not have all unnecessary sheet in your cube. While designing the cube, let's say if you want to design the cube for all the 4 departments, IT, HR department, finance department, and BPO departments, and so on. So every table will be, you have to add all the tables that are related to these 4 entities. So that's the problem. Instead of that, people split these into data marts, and these data marts will be used to design 4 different cube solutions, and 4 different cube solutions will be pointed by SSRS reports to generate the reports. So in short, data warehouse is the complete historical data, whereas data mart is a subset. To explain with another example, if you take a cricket database, the complete cricket database is a data warehouse, whereas batting related information, if you move into a separate database, we call it as a data mart, that is subset of the historical data. So that's the difference between data warehouse and data mart. What is confirmed dimension? It is nothing but role-playing dimension. What is role-playing dimension? One dimension at database level, which plays different roles at cube level. So when you add it, if people ask you an example for this, never ever go for time dimension. Why? Because interviewers will be fed up with that. So better go for some other example, as I said, like cricket database. Player will be a dimension, and when you add it to the cube with runs, so every ball by ball details, if you consider, batsman is a player, bowler is a player, fielder is a player, and non-striker is a player. So all these 4 dimensions will be created when you add one dimension from the database dimension, that is player, into your cube. So this is called confirmed dimensions. Explain ranking functions. As I told you, we have 4 different ranking functions: row number, rank, dense rank, and entile. You can use all these to, each one is having different functionality, and you can use all these to provide ranking to the data in a table. And we discussed about this in last session only, so you might have good idea about this. And explain pivot and unpivot. Pivot is nothing but converting the rows into columns is called pivoting, and the reverse process, that is converting the columns into rows, is called unpivoting. And we have seen at least couple of examples for this in last session. So if you're still not clear about this, I suggest you to go through the video once again. Next question: what is the difference between snapshot and cache reports? Snapshot reports, you can take the snapshot like on a scheduled basis, on regular basis. You can create the snapshot and store it in the database, or store it in a report server. So the advantage of snapshot is it will try to get the latest snapshot from the database, from the report server. The advantage is obviously the performance gain. Little bit of performance gain will be there. But the cache reports, it will be cached for every filter part. For example, if you have one parameter, India, which has countries information, country has the data, so India, Pakistan, and so on. When the user selects India and click on view report, a cache will be created. In the same way, the cache will be created for all the different parameter values, whereas snapshot will be created only one snapshot at regular interval. For every 30 minutes, if you want to create one snapshot, it will fetch the latest data and will create a snapshot of the data. So when the user queries the report, triggers the report, then it will go and search for the latest snapshot report, and fetches that to display to the end user. So this is about there is a lot of configurations we can set for snapshot and cache reports, which we discussed in SSRS deployment video. If you have any queries, just go through that. Explain linked reports. If a report is deployed to the server, and if you want to create a different, for example, it has a parameter default value India. Now we want to create one more report with the parameter default value to Pakistan and generate it, generate the snapshot or generate the subscriptions for this report. So you can directly make use of the complete structure, complete report as is, but only different parameter value selection. So linked report is a link to the existing report, or I can say as a virtual one, right? A duplicate one of the existing report, but with different parameter selection. Now, what is the use of data set? So if I ask this question, people should not think about SSIS and SSRS. SSIS and SSAS. Why? Because data sets plays a major role in SSRS. So data sets advantage is this is meant for holding the data. If you want to hold the data, which is going to display in SSRS reports, the data set is the best bet, and it is the only bet where we can hold the data that is being displayed in the SSRS reports. And the difference between filter and parameter, this is the most common. You will get this question if you are giving interview for SSRS position. So filter is the one which filters the data. First, it will be like this. First, it will get the data into data set, and filter will be applied once the data is fetched. But parameter, the parameter value will be sent to your database and filtered there itself and pull the filtered data. Let's say you have 10 countries information in the database, and this is your data set, and this is your report. If you set parameter, the parameter will be sent to here from here to here, and it will be filtered. Let's say I pull the country India, sales for the country India. So if it has total sales records of 1 crore, and in that India sales is just 10 lakhs or 5 lakhs, then only the 5 lakh records will be pulled from the database to the data set. So it is not going to fetch all the data. Let's say you have a filter instead of parameter. Filter will be defined in data set, right? So what it will do is, let's say you set the same filter, country is equal to India. It will pull all the 1 crore records to the data set, and here at this point it filters and then it displays in the report. The parameter, it filters in the database level and it pulls only 5 lakh records or the number of records that is there for country India, and then it will display the same data in the report. So the advantage is the network traffic, if you see here, it is pulling only 5 or 10 lakh records, whereas it is pulling all the records from the database and then filtering. So performance wise, it's always better to go with parameters. I'm confused. Now let me go to the next one. Attribute relationship. This is the question I was talking about. Most of the times people are not answering it in a correct way. They are getting confused with the dimension usage, that relationship between the dimensions and the measure groups. Attribute relationship, you can see it. I clearly mentioned it is attribute. It is attribute relationship. It's not dimension relationship or fact relationship. So attribute relationships are used to provide the relationship between two attributes, which will improve the performance of the cube processing. So what it will do is, I explained you about this. There is a special, complete video on this attribute relationship in which we discussed about hierarchies. I explained about attribute. When you define a hierarchy, every attribute will be pointing to the key column in the dimension. But when you define the hierarchy, you can provide, okay, month is dependent on date key, and quarter is dependent on month, and semester is dependent on quarter, and year is dependent on semester. So with these, the querying, the performance, cube processing performance will be improved. So the attribute relationship is nothing but the relationship giving between two attributes in the dimension, and there are two types. One is rigid and another one is flexible. Rigid means when the member will not change or move from one item to another item. For example, 2005 January will be under 2005 only. It will not be moved to 2006 year, right, or 2007 year. So this is rigid. This is fixed relationship. Flexible means Rupesh working under manager XYZ. Today he is working under manager XYZ, and tomorrow he may be working under manager ABC. This is not a fixed one. This is not a rigid one. So we call this kind of relationship between two attributes as flexible relationships. And explain impersonation. Impersonation is the way to authenticate the user who is processing the cube and trying to connect to the database where the data warehouse data exists. So there are four types of authentication. One is impersonation. One is providing the username and password. Another one is taking the current user who has logged in, and the third one is taking the service account, and the fourth one is inherit, which means taking the default account of the analysis services. And what is access? Access is the core one in MDX. Access talks about whether it is a column or the row in which you want to show the data. Access of 0 refers to the columns, whereas access of 1 refers to the rows. Access is nothing but the coordinate in which you want to show the data. And explain date functions in SQL Server. When I asked this question, a couple of guys replied saying that date function is get date. Get date is not a date function. We have so many date functions like date diff, date add, and date add is there where you can add the date. You can find the date diff to subtract or to find out the difference between the two dates, and date diff, not date diff, date add is there again to subtract the dates. And like you can go back to the history from the current date or from any particular date. And you have some year, month, and so many other functions related to the date. And explain group by function. Group by, whenever you want to get the sales grouped by any particular column, or whenever you want to calculate the metrics grouped by any particular field, then you'll go for this group by in SQL Server. So if you have country and sales in a table as two columns, then you can use the group by statement in such a way that select country, comma, sum of sales. If you want to take sum of sales, then sum of sales from table name group by country. So what it will do is it will take the distinct country names and then it will sum the sales for every country and place it next to the country name. So this is called grouping of data. And now what types of subqueries? There are two types of subqueries which we discussed in last but one session. So I suggest you to go through the video once again if you are not clear about it. Okay, as you all know, there are two types of subqueries. One is normal, one self-contained, and the other one is recursive, right? Correlated subqueries we call it as. So just go through that. If you have any questions, you can come back. I think if people has written correct answer for this. And explain types of CTs. It's a normal CT, common table expression, and the second one is a recursive CT. Recursive CT is mainly used for parent-child hierarchies, which we discussed in SQL Server Advanced Concepts. And what is a table expression and types? Table expression is nothing but writing a select statement where the table is expected. There are two types. One is derived table and another one is the CTs. Derived table is select start from. Instead of table name, you will open the parenthesis and close it, and in between you will write a select statement. So the select will be applied on the inner select statement. So that is called derived table. And next one, what is tuple and set? Tuple is nothing but collection of different members in MDX, whereas set is collection of tuple is collection of members from different hierarchies, whereas set is collection of members from same hierarchy. Let's say country is an attribute. Country.countryname.India, comma country.countryname.Pakistan, comma country.countryname.Bangladesh. All these three are having same hierarchy, that is country.countryname. So we call it as a set. All these three members are having same hierarchy or belonging to same hierarchy. When you take an example for tuple, it will be country.countryname.India, comma Andhra Pradesh, comma district name Hyderabad. All these three members, Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh, and India, are not belonging to the same hierarchy, and each and everyone is having different hierarchy. So we call this as the members with the different collection of members with the different hierarchies are called as tuple. How do you deploy SSRS report with steps? First, you have to start the report configuration and check whether it is configured in a proper way. Then you have to go to the report solution, or right click on the solution, go to the properties and set the target server URL as HTTP server name to the report server, and then give the folder names whatever you want, database, data source folder name, and the target reports where to deploy. So by providing all those things, right click and deploy on the report. This is one way of deployment. And for example, if you modify, if you have a 800 or 900 reports, and if you deploy all the reports and an issue comes for one report, and if you fix it, and if you want to update only this report, only one the fixed report, then you can right click on that particular report and click on deploy. Or else you can do one thing, go to the report server, that is HTTP server name / report server. There you can find the report, delete it, and there is an option called upload file. Using that, you can upload the report which is modified by pointing to the RDL file. And different types of SSAs deployment with steps. There are so many deployment types. One is synchronization, one is direct deployment, one is using SSAs deployment wizard, and one is using backup and restore. So we have a separate video for this, right? We discussed all the different types in one video. So I suggest you to go through the video once again. So that's it about all the queries which I have given for test yesterday, and you guys have done a good job, but expecting the better job. It is not as good as expected, but so Go through the videos once again, and whenever you find time, try to practice. Don't waste in the other stuff which is not of high priority at this point of time. Here now in this video we are going to discuss about one of the concepts in SQL Server, recently added one, that is merge statement, merge keyword. So this has become pretty famous these days. Most of the guys are talking about merge, and most of the guys are facing this as part of their interview questions. So what is this merge, and why we use it for? And let's discuss about this merge statement in this session. First of all, whenever you are moving the data, the most frequent thing that you will do is inserting and updating, right? Most of the cases. Now let's take a data warehouse. This is your source table, and this is your destination table. What are all the possibilities you have while moving from source to destination? Let's say you have ID 1, 2, 3 here. You have only one. Sorry, I erased it by mistake. Let me type it again. You have 1, 2, and 4 here IDs. So what you will do while moving the data, the first thing you will check is whether there is any extra records which is not present in the source. You have 4, so 4 should not be here. You will delete 4, and you will check any extra records here. 3 is there, so 3 should be there. You will insert this data, and you will check 1 and 2 present here and 1 and 2 present here. So whether there is, you will check whether there is any updations happen, like any updations in the source. Let's say here Roop is the name. Here it is Lokesh for employee ID 1. Then this needs to be updated. This Roop should be replaced with Lok should be replaced with Roop by pulling it from the source. So you will do 3 different things whenever you are moving the data from source to destination. It depends on your requirements mainly when you talk about slowly changing dimensions, these 3 will come into picture. About slowly changing dimensions we will discuss when we talk about SSIS. Just keep in mind we will do all these 3 whenever we are moving the data from source to destination. So generally what people will do in earlier days like SQL Server 2005 or earlier versions was writing 3 different statements and having a if statement. If it is not present in this, then update or insert. If present but values are changed, then update, something like that. So this merge statement is making our work easy. Using a single statement, we can add or update records in our database table without explicitly checking for the existence of records. So that's the advantage of this merge statement. You can do add or update or delete using one single statement instead of going for some condition checks. So if you talk about a couple of advantages here, this is a set based. First of all, this is atomic. All the 3 statements will be into one container or one query. It will check, update, uncheck, delete, uncheck, insert. So everything will be part of one SQL statement. And the next one is it is defined in ANSI SQL. That's a language, and this is common. This is common across many databases available. And while working on slowly changing dimensions, this will play a major role. And I mean to say, while working on slowly changing dimensions, this will be very, very handy. Now let's demonstrate the same with an example. So before that, let me erase the stuff here. So what I'm going to do here is, I'll take 2 tables first. I'll check whether it is present in the source or not. If it is not present, then I will insert to the destination. If it is present and the values are different, then I will update from the source to the destination. And if it is present in the destination but not in the source, then I will delete it. So this is what I'm going to do using single statement, and merge will help us in doing the same. So let's take a simple example here. So to demonstrate the same, I'm creating two tables. Table source, and I'm taking columns like ID, which is integer field, name, which is varchar of 50, and sales, how much sales is done. Let's say integer. So I created a table with the name table source with three columns. One is ID, name, and sales. Now I'm creating one more table, destination, with the same columns. Now my intention is to check or to implement the merge statement on these two tables, that is source and destination. First, what I'm going to do here is inserting some data into the source. Values 1 comma Rupesh is the salesperson and the sales amount is just $200. So I inserted a record into the source table. Let me see the same. Select star from table source, and let me show you the destination also. So the source is having one record and the destination is having no records. Now I'm going to make use of the merge statement, one single statement to do all the job. First, let's see the syntax of the merge. Merge into, you have to provide target table. What is the target table for you? You have to provide this using, you have to provide source table. Source table or select statement, both are, you can go for anything. On some condition, you have to give some condition, right? The join condition between these two. You have to provide the join condition here. Now, when matched, then write the condition here or write the statement here. Next one is when not matched, then statement here. And when not matched by source, then statement here. At the end, you have to provide a semicolon. So you might get confused by seeing this. What is this match and what is this not matched and so on. Let me explain this here. First, it will take this target table. This is your target table and this is your source table. When matched means this target table ID, you are giving some condition, right? ID 1 and 1 is matching. Then you can write some statement to update the data here. The data for updating. And when it is not matched, that means when the data is not present in the destination. Remember this, when it is not present in the destination, then you can add an insert statement here. When the data is not present in destination, what you will do? You will insert the data. When it is not matched by source means when the record is not present in the source but present in the destination table, then what you have to do, you have to delete it from the destination table to make the source and destination sync. So this is the simple syntax, and you can make it so complex one. There is so many other features for this merge statement, but for now let's talk about only the basic level of merge statement, and let's see an example here. Okay, merge into, what is the destination table for me, or the target table destination, using what is my source table. I can go for source table as is by using the name, or I can go for select statement, right? Let me go for the table name for now, and let me create some alias names. D, yes, D means destination and S means source. On condition. Let's just like in joins, d dot id is equal to s dot id. So the merge statement will work on this condition. It will check, it will take the ID from the source and it will take the ID from the destination and it will compare and check here. Now, when matched, then that means whenever it is matched, then I'm going to write update statement here. Update set. You don't need to specify the table name. Why? Because it will be updated only on the destination table. D dot name is equal to s dot name. What I'm doing here, I'm adding, I'm assigning source name value to the destination table name value here, and d dot sales is equal to s dot sales. So if you observe this one here, what I'm doing is I'm assigning the value from the source. If it is matched, if both the tables are having ID 1, then I'm taking the name and I'm taking the sales from the source and assigning to the destination part. Next one is when not matched. That means when the destination is not having the particular data. So what it will do is insert values. What are all the values then that I have to pass to the destination table? I have to specify the same values here. S dot ID, S dot name, S dot sales. The third one, when not matched by source, then I have to specify delete. That's it. What it will do is it will delete the particular record, the particular ID from the destination table, and at the end you have to specify a semicolon. Now let's see by executing this query. Something is missing here, that is then keyword. Let me add that guy. Then insert values so and so when not matched, then now it looks fine. When I executed the same, it is showing one record affected. Then what is that one record? What happened? Let me show you the same by selecting the source and destination. So the one record is inserted into the destination table. So how it flowed? What about the logical flow here? First, it will take this destination table and it will check with the source table on this condition. So this destination is empty, right? Earlier, so it was empty, and it will check with this ID. Matched? No, it is not matched. No ID was present in the destination. Not matched? True. This will be evaluated to true. Then it will be inserted into the destination. This query will be executed, and when not matched by source is not a valid condition, so it will not execute this delete. It will come out of this merge statement. Now let me demonstrate. We can do one thing. We have one option here. We can check what is the event that is occurring or what is the action that is happening here. Using the keyword output, $action will give you what is the action that is executing, comma, inserted table.id, deleted.id if any deletion occurred. I will explain you what is this inserted and deleted. What I'm gonna do here is, now both the source and destination is same. Both are having the same data, right? If I execute this guy now, it is saying it is updated, update action occurred, and updated ID is 1 and deleted ID is 1. So that means if you see here, when matched, it is executing this update statement. If you run this 1000 of times, it will do the same job. Why? Because I'm having only one condition, when matched, then blindly run this update statement. Or you can have one more condition here, when matched and source.name is not equal to destination.name, then only execute this. Okay, or source.sales not equal to destination dot sales, then execute. Else you don't need to update the statement, right? Let me execute this now. A merge statement must be terminated with a semicolon. I missed this guy. So if you see, no action happened. Why? Because I added extra condition check here. So earlier it was checking only for whether the IDs are matching or not. If it was matching, then it was updating the statement, and that is why we are getting some action event here. Now I added condition like when matched and source.name not equal to destination name, or source.sales not equal to destination.sales. In that case, go and update the record, or else don't update. Why you need to update when you have the same data in the source and destination? If the complete record is same in the source and destination, then it doesn't make any sense, right? So that is what happening here. Now let me show you a better example. I'm updating this guy to Rupesh from SH. I'm changing it to Rupesh. How to do that? By using update statement. Update table underscore source set name is equal to Rupesh. I'm updating it to Rupesh, and it is updated properly as per my guess. Yes, it is. You can see. And I'm adding couple of records. I'll name it as Lokesh, and I'll name it as Vinay. And I'm gonna add couple of records in destination too. I'll take ID 4 Vinay. Now let me show you the data that is present in the source and destination. First, it will come and check here the ID 1 present in the source and destination. Then it will check for the name is same or not. It is not same. So what it will do? It will execute this update statement. Next, it will come for the second record here. Lokesh, it is not present here. So it is not matched. So it will insert the data. And the third record, Vinay, is present in the first table but not in the second table. So it is not matched again. So it will insert the data. And the fourth record, here, it is present in the destination but not in the source. That is, when not matched by source. Then delete it. You don't need to specify the table name, and you don't need to specify the ID name. Why? Because delete from the destination table, that is this guy, where ID is equal to s.id, whatever the ID that is currently executing. Now, let me execute this. First, it inserted the ID 2 and inserted the ID 3, updated the ID 1, and deleted the record where destination ID is 4. So this is how you can make use of the merge statement to implement the complete slowly changing dimension concepts, and all three into one SQL statement. It is easy to maintain and easy, and the advantage is you don't need to write complex logic like if present in the source but not in the destination and so on. That's one beautiful advantage of having the merge statement, and it is very, 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 very important nowadays. And one key point here is if the both the source and destination should have the same columns, and if it is not having the same columns, then what you have to do? You have to specify what are all the columns you want to insert. If the destination is having only 3 columns but the source is having 20 columns, what you have to do? What is those 3 columns you are going to pass? ID, name, and let's say sales. And what is the values from source? Source from ID, name, and sales. You can have a different columns in the source, or you can have more columns in the destination. But if you specify only 3, what will happen? The remaining columns will be placed with null values. This is one important thing that you have to keep in mind while working on merge statements. And instead of source, you can directly go for some select statement. Select star from table source. So it's purely your wish. I mean, if you want to get only a couple of records from the source, then you can go with that. It's all depends on your requirement. But this is the basic syntax what you have to follow to go with a merge statement. And just practice it, and if you have any queries, you can ping me anytime. And that's it for this video, and we'll cover more and more like this in coming videos. Thank you guys.